Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got a brand new partnership today with Palantir and Amazon. This comes just one day after Palantir got almost $500 million, $463 million from the US Systems Command to implement AI and LLMs into the military. And so the diversity and versatility of this company to be able to get $500 million one day to be able to bring AI into the military, and then the next day in the commercial private markets, be able to launch a partnership with one of the biggest cloud computing softwares in the world, AWS, to bring Foundry for manufacturing businesses, which is the press release they issued today, is just outstanding to me. We're going to go through this press release. We're going to talk about why this is important. And then we're going to talk about what is the market potential and the trajectory for this type of software being implemented into the manufacturing space. Let's get into it right now. Now, before we start, two quick announcements. Number one, I will be debating the guy who wrote the Bear Report from the Bear Cave on Palantir, the short report that came out just a couple days ago, tonight, Tuesday, 8 p.m. If you're watching this after, just go to my YouTube channel, click on the live tab, and you'll see Confronting the Palantir short report writer in the videos. And second, we have Keith Fitzgerald, who's been one of the mainstream Palantir commentators on traditional media like CNBC, Fox Business, etc., coming on the live stream tomorrow, Wednesday, 9:40 a.m. So it's big for the Palantir community. He'll be there, and we will get his thoughts on Palantir and why he's been excited about it really since $7-8 and has continued to be bullish on the company as it has evolved. All right. Palantir launches Foundry for manufacturing on AWS to the broader market. This integrated offering allows its users to merge industrial data, decisions, and operations to fully harness manufacturing data through its entire lifecycle. Foundry brings data to life for manufacturing customers, offering a single environment to drive optimization and organizational change. This is done through the seamless convergence of information technology and operational technology, IT or OT, as well as operations data, the integration of traceable data models, and the closed-loop operational applications for leadership, engineers, and operators alike. Essentially, there's a lot of data that's fragmented in the manufacturing space, so these are businesses that have to actually make things, and we're going to get some examples in a second, not just service-based businesses, right, like, or tech businesses that actually have to make things with raw materials, goods, etc. And all that data is coming into place into a single system via Foundry. Foundry for manufacturing on AWS, this is the AWS part, is a comprehensive solution that helps manufacturers integrate and contextualize their data assets and unlock powerful applications such as yield optimization, dynamic maintenance, production scheduling, computer vision, quality detection. Integrations between Foundry and AWS services such as AWS Lake Formation, Amazon Redshift, etc. allow for additional flexibility. Palantir has done a partnership with AWS back in September 2021. So Palantir is an agnostic software. It can work on GCP, Azure, AWS. It doesn't matter what cloud computing software you use. Palantir is a data analytics software, so it's platform agnostic and can be on top of any of them. So it doesn't really compete with those platforms. It's integrated with those platforms. Foundry for manufacturing is a very specific type of version of Palantir's Foundry software, which again has like hundreds of different verticals in terms of industries it can adapt to on AWS, because AWS clients that are manufacturing companies that use AWS have not had access to Foundry before. So this is an integrated specific solution and offering for the broader market that uses AWS, which are, thousands and thousands of companies in the context of the manufacturing space. Foundry for manufacturing on AWS addresses the challenges of fragmented data systems with high barriers to access data, responding to the frequent value chain disruption and widespread talent and skill shortages. With this solution based on AWS Industrial Data Fabric offering, customers can take immediate steps towards transforming manufacturing and industrial operations and embracing a data-driven approach. So basically, you actually know what's going on in your business, and as we're getting into a more competitive environment with AI disrupting every business, if you don't know what's going on with your business and can't make decisions, it's going to be really hard. Foundry is quickly becoming the primary operating system at Integrity Tool and Molds. This is a company that Palantir announced a partnership with back in December. Their largest plant in Windsor, Canada. The company engaged with Palantir early on its digital transformation journey, and Integrity Tool and Mold is on track to build a best-in-class digital command center, connecting teams and data from across the organization to improve manufacturing operations. The director of operations says, "We believe that the combination of our people, our vision, and now with the Foundry platform, we can revolutionize the custom manufacturing industry. We are now connecting to data points that we previously could not access and injecting them back into our system in order to improve operational efficiency and quality." And that sentence right there is kind of the bull case for this entire partnership. There are thousands of companies in the manufacturing space. Stuff like, they make shit. They make water bottles. They make cowbells. They make plastic accessories. They make stuff. And to make stuff, there's a lot of factorial stuff that goes into actually being able to create something. And there's a lot of data points that you could be looking to, which most of the time, these are not the most technological advanced companies in the world. You either don't have access to that data is hidden, that data is siloed, or you haven't embraced a data-driven approach to being able to transform your business. Now, you may be using AWS just to be able to manage and compute all the storage of the data that you have, but you're not getting the analytical capabilities from that data if you're not connected to something like a Palantir Foundry. So the idea that the director of operations at a pretty big manufacturing company says we are now connecting to data points that we previously could not access, injecting them back into the system and improving operational efficiency and quality. This is what you need to know to understand why a client pays Palantir, why they're going to keep paying Palantir, and why it's going to be really hard for them to pay another company if they were to leave Palantir, because when it's integrated into your business, it ends up becoming pretty sticky. Two more examples, Panasonic and Jacobs, both presented at the AIPCon. Panasonic Energy, a Panasonic Group company recently deployed Foundry on AWS at its Panasonic Energy of North America facility in Sparks, Nevada. Foundry on AWS now serves as the foundation for Panasonic Energy of North America's smart factory ecosystem, deploying technology across the stack from Edge AI to SDKs. The SDKs allow enterprises to leverage the Foundry ontology and ML capabilities in external applications across the entire business. Panasonic obviously makes batteries. They have a lot of operations across the entire world, so the fact that they're embracing Palantir is pretty amazing. Jacobs, one of the world's largest engineering and technical service companies, deployed a process automation and dynamic maintenance solution in Palantir Foundry that connects predictive AI modeling with day-to-day site operations to improve energy and chemical usage across plant sites. In 6 months, Jacobs achieved a 20% annual reduction in plant-wide energy utilization at the pilot site location, and the company is now scaling to multiple plant locations. See, I didn't even read that part when I initially read this PR. In 6 months, Jacobs achieved a 20% annual reduction in plant-wide energy utilization. What does that mean? That means they save money on energy costs. At the pilot site, which means now the company is expanding to multiple plant sites. Again, this is why Bob Pragada, the CEO of Jacobs, went on Mad Money, Jim Cramer's show, and basically said, no, Palantir is the real deal. You have to rethink them, and went on AIPCon and presented for Palantir, because when a software is saving you 20% on energy costs, and you can expand that across hundreds of different plants that you may have all across the world, yeah, that's a big result in savings, and you're willing to pay something for that if you're saving money on that. So that's a great use case from this. Jacobs is an engineering manufacturing consulting company, so I'm sure they have plenty of clients that deal with manufacturing, and it makes a lot of sense that they're saving money for chemical usage across their plant sites. Quote from the head of manufacturing at Palantir, Gabby Rojas. We're excited to deliver our cutting-edge manufacturing solution on Foundry through our dynamic relationship with AWS. In an era of increasing demands of the manufacturing sector and historic staffing shortages, it's more important than ever to help manufacturing clients unlock the power of their sensor data and AI to operate operations. General Manager of Automotive and Manufacturing at AWS says that AWS were inspired by what's possible when organizations have complete, unfederated access to their data and are able to transform operations, processes, and even industries by scaling to the cloud. We're excited to see the impact on customers as they use Foundry for manufacturing on AWS, underscoring the importance of solutions available in AWS Marketplace and via the Industrial Data Fabric offering. So core things from this partnership. Number one, the fact that Palantir is extending the relationship with AWS is really important. There's a lot of companies out there that try to do like strategic partnerships, and those strategic partnerships end up not really like being that good. They don't end up working. They don't end up getting advertised enough. Like, it's just like two names on a sheet of paper on a press release, but there's no substance to it. It's really good that Palantir has not only partnered with AWS, but there have been multiple versions of Foundry on AWS's marketplace, this case for manufacturing clients, that lets them know this expands the partnership. I mean, that means there's people at AWS, at Amazon, talking to people at Palantir, and they're both collaborating like, hey, we have clients. You guys want some of these clients. You have software that our clients want access to that we can't create. Again, proving the point that Amazon and Palantir don't really compete. AWS and Palantir don't really compete, right? They're just two totally different products. How about we work together? And the fact that a deal is able to get done, again, when you look at the Republicans and the Democrats, it took us months to get a debt ceiling negotiation passed. The fact that a deal was able to get done, people aren't going to talk about it, but that's a pretty big deal, because in Fortune 500, when you're dealing with big companies like Amazon, it's not that easy to just get a deal done and like get it out into the marketplace, have it advertised, have people know that there's access to it. The fact that it's done is really important on a top level, and important just for the expansion of Palantir, especially because it adds a level of sales distribution, which is Amazon's marketplace, right? That has access to thousands and thousands of companies that could potentially discover AWS for Foundry and then ultimately utilize it. The second key sort of point of analysis here is that manufacturing is another business that Palantir has their little sticky fingers in. I mean, you just got $463 million from the military yesterday, and now you're like, okay, let's take over the manufacturing industry. And, they've been working on this for a while, but the idea that there's thousands of manufacturing clients in the world, all across the world, right? We saw 3 examples, Jacobs, Panasonic, and Integrity Tools and Mold. And so those 3 examples that showed some really good results, the director of operations saying this is amazing, Jacobs reducing 20% of energy costs in certain plant sites, great stuff. Now it's a question of, all right, that's 3 companies, maybe you got some more customers, but what if thousands of people, thousands of manufacturing companies across the world that use AWS to store their data could also implement with Foundry? So the scalability of something like this in terms of Foundry for manufacturing in combination with AWS is really exciting to me. Again, it's just a question of if Palantir is able to get to that scale. But the case study is there. The use case is there. The ability to recognize, oh, this is real and this can actually become something that scales is there. And the final point I'll make is that it just adds to the diversity and versatility of a company being able to do this. There are not many companies that can expand into all of these different sectors, go from the public markets to the private markets, or sorry, the public sector, right, in governments to the private sector within 2 days of each other, announce two really important things that have actual results. One has money attached to it. One is a pretty meaningful partnership that has a great use case and case studies involved in how that partnership could evolve, and continue to keep going from there. Final thing here is AI-driven operations. They mentioned that in the press release once. I think manufacturing businesses will obviously have to use some form of AI in order to implement their businesses and become more efficient and effective. And so the fact that they're trying to bring that, they didn't mention LLM, so it's not full-on AI, LLMs, kind of the way we understand ChatGPT type of stuff that they're bringing to manufacturing. This is more Foundry. This is one of those partnerships. We haven't heard about Foundry for a while, so this is one of those press releases that's specifically talking about Foundry. But Foundry is incredibly AI and machine learning driven. And so if you can implement that into a manufacturing business and eventually bring LLMs through AIP, which eventually, if your integrity tools and mold, why not use AIP if you're using Foundry and that's already AI driven? AI is already under the hood. If you can just slap a nice user interface on there and start typing things and get results immediately and even make your business more effective, why wouldn't you do that? So the expansion capabilities of getting a partner from AWS on Foundry for manufacturing and eventually get them on AIP, to me, seems like a pipeline that makes a lot of sense. All right, those are my thoughts. New Palantir Amazon partnership. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks so much for listening and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.